introduce myself first. Aye, go on then. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in Scotland, in the UK, in Europe and around the world, my name is Pauline Cordiner and I am a storyteller based in Aberdeen, Scotland. This is my friend Fizzy the Fairy. Hello! And we're going to be telling you a story today about why you shouldn't invite fairies to come and live in your house. Do you know why? They never leave. She's been here for 8 years now, eating my chocolate biscuits and stealing all the spare socks. So Fizzy, are you going to help me tell this story? Yes. Now, I've got my daughter here, Molly. Say hello, Molly.
Hi.
She's going to be my physical audience in front of me, but you're going to be the audience out there. Now, this is a story that I learned from Ewan McVicar. And Sheena Blackhall came up to me one day in the playground and she said, Pauline, I've got this story for you. You've got to learn it. You've got to tell it. So I've been telling it for about 2 years now. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, there was this woman. Now, this woman lived with her family. She had 7 children and a husband, all the way up the wild and lonely glen. And in the wild and lonely glen, there was only 2 cottages, hers and her neighbour's. Now, her husband was away on business. And one day she took a look around the house and you should have seen the mess of it. There was socks, dirty socks lying on the floor. There were books lying on the chair. There were toys on the bookshelf. There were crumbs everywhere. And she said to the children, who were aged between 2 and 10, you lot, outside, out you go. I'm going to tidy the house. So she started. Now, Fizzy, you know what it's like when I tidy up after wee Molly here. She went to the floor and just started gathering up all the dirty washing. And when she took it to the dirty washing basket, there was a book in there. So she picked up the book and she took it over to put it on the bookshelves. And that was where she found a dirty plate with a cupcake on it. Well, a half-eaten cupcake. She took the dirty plate over to the sink and she noticed that the sink was full of her daughter's doll. So the doll got taken out and she was on her way over to the basket to put it away when she noticed there was trainers in the toy basket. Why? And she said, goodness, these kids, I can't do all this by myself. I wish the fairies would come and help tidy up. And then she put her hand over her mouth. Now, you out there in the modern world, you might think that all fairies are beautiful. Just like us, Fizzy. Aye. But fairies may be bonny, but they're not all necessarily nice. You see, fairies will do exactly what they want. If you're nice to them, they'll be nice to you. But if you're a wee bit mean, you better watch it. And the other thing is, you should never invite a fairy into your house. Why is that? They eat all your food. And that's just the start of it. So as soon as the woman said this, she put her hand over her mouth and she hoped that nobody had heard her. But there just so happened that there was one wee fairy.
Me.
Yes, you. Who was up in the rafters of the house, sort of hiding, just sitting about in amongst the thatch, who had overheard. And that wee fairy got up and went all the way up the wild and lonely glen, down, down, down into fairyland, where she said, fairies, we've had an invitation! And all the fairies immediately leapt to attention, because there's nothing the fairies like more than an invite. And they all got something very special that all fairies have, and that is a wee spoon. You've got one, haven't you?
Yes.
It's their cream spoon for eating cream. And what they do is they normally have this cream spoon tucked away in a wee pocket in amongst their clothes. Well, they all grabbed their cream spoons, tucked their cream spoons in their pocket, and they went up, up, up out of fairyland, all the way down the wild and lonely glen, and they got to the lady's house. They stuck their heads through the door and they said, we're here! And then all of a sudden, the kids, who were miles away, could only hear their mother screaming. They were away playing up trees, and they heard, "Ah!" because the fairies were everywhere. I don't know if there was 10s of them, I don't know if there was hundreds of them, but they were everywhere, and they were scrubbing dishes and putting the dishes to side. They were drying the dishes, they were putting the dishes away, they were gathering the kiddies' clothes, they were putting the kiddies' clothes in the wash basket, and they were jumping up and down, getting the soapy suds everywhere, getting the clothes clean. And then some of the fairies noticed the state of the table, and they got out their special cleaning cloths.
The ones that we get in the middle aisle of Aldi's and Lidl's.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And they got their special cleaning cloths and they started to clean.
La-da-dee-da-da-da-dee.
Is that how it goes?
Yes.
And they cleaned the table until it was glittering and shiny and beautiful, sparkling with fairy magic. And then they sat down at the table. And it was then that they got their cream spoons out. And they started to do this. Started stamping their hands and their spoons on the table. And then they said, "Cream." And the lady of the house said, "What?" "Cream, cream, 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 cream." And the lady of the house said, "Okay, I'll go and get you some cream." Now she had a cow. She went outside every day. She milked the cow. She put the milk in a bucket, and the kids would come and they would scrape off the cream into a wee bowl, and she would put that in her pantry. And she would save it for making cheese, making milk later on, making butter later on. So she went to the pantry, she brought out this bowl, and she turned her back so that she could get them, I don't know, maybe some egg cups or something. But the fairies were fast. They got out their cream spoons and they went. And all the cream was
Gone.
But the fairies, they weren't happy. And do you know what they said then? Do you know what they said, Molly?
More cream.
More cream.
More cream. More cream. More cream. More cream. More cream.
And the lady of the house said, hang on, I don't have any more cream. Anyway, this house is still a mess. And the fairies got up and they started to do more tidying, and the willy boots were soon all lined up in a neat line at the door. The kids' toys were away in the baskets, all the crumbs were being swept up from the wee corners, and the books were straight on the bookshelves, and then the fairies saw the state of the chairs. Well, were they not covered in jammy fingerprints and crumbs, and maybe there was the odd wee bogey that had been wiped underneath pre-coronavirus days. And the fairies got out their sparkling magic cloths and they started to clean.
La-da-dee-da-da-da-da.
And soon the chairs were sparkling and beautiful and clean
With fairy magic.
And then the fairies sat down on them. And you know what they said? Cream, 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 cream. And the lady said, hang on, I haven't got any more cream, I tell yous. And they said, well, you had better go and get some. Oh, said the lady. This was a bit threatening. So she got up, she went over to her neighbour's house and she knocked on the door. And the neighbour opened the door and went, hello, my dear, fit like wine for you doing the day yourself. Well, said the lady, you wouldn't have any cream, would you? Okay, said the neighbour. And off she went. She went off to her pantry, got a big, big bowl of cream, and gave it to her, saying, oh, you can geese it back another day, Queen. And she carried it off. The lady took the cream back to the house, put it down on the table, and the fairies immediately got their cream spoons and they went. And the cream was all gone. I bet you know what the fairies said next. More cream, more cream, more cream. And the lady said, this house is still a mess. Anyway, I haven't got any more cream. But the fairies got to work, and they were cleaning all the wee dusty bits up at the corners of the room. They took down the curtains and they washed them, they hung them out, and then they saw the carpet. Now in those days, people didn't have carpets that went wall to wall, they were rugs. So they rolled it up like a big sausage, and they took it outside, they hung it over the washing line, and they started beating it to get all the dust out, and soon it was sparkling and clean and full of fairy magic. They took it back, they rolled it out, they put the chairs and the table back on it, sat down at the table. Cream, 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 they said. The lady said, I haven't got any more cream. Neither does the neighbour, she gave me it all. Well then, said the fairies, you'd better go and get some. Or what? Said the lady. Or we will come in late at night and we will pluck the hairs from your children's heads one by one. Doink, 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 until they're bald. And the lady said, I'm not sure I want that. Hang on, I'll go and ask my neighbour, see if she's got any more. And she left the house. She went through the neighbour. She knocked on the door. And the neighbour opened the door. Hello, my dear, what's yourself it like? The lady said, have you got any more cream? Well then, said the neighbour, no, I dunno fit why you need more cream anyhow. Yeah, and I got the fairies in, have you? Oh, said the lady, well, actually, I do, and I don't know how to get rid of them. Oh, said the neighbour, oh, you dinna want them, you know what they'll do? They'll come in late at night and they'll pluck out all the hairs from your children's head, one by one. Doing, doing. You doing until your children are bald. We have to come up with a wee plan. So they started whispering to each other. And the lady of the house went running back in and she screamed to the fairies, Fairies, fairies! Aye, said the fairies, your house is on fire! And quick as anything, the fairies took their cream spoons, shoved them into their pockets, they ran out the house, they ran all the way up the wild and lonely glen, down, down, down into fairyland. Molly, was the house on fire?
No.
No. The fairies realised that they had been tricked. And if you've never seen an angry fairy, I pray that you never do. And the fairies said, right. And they went up, 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 out of fairyland, all the way down the wild and lonely glen, and they arrived at the woman's house and they saw that the children were all inside. And she'd barricaded herself in. Self-isolation isn't a new thing. But the other thing was, she'd put over the door a horseshoe. Now, nowadays, people think that you put horseshoes above the door for good luck, but it's not. Fairies are terrified of iron.
I hate ironing.
Anyway, fairies are terrified of iron, and what kind of iron was just lying about? Old horseshoes. So they would stick iron above the door. The fairies couldn't come into the house. So they shouted through the door, Lady of the house, Lady of the house, come on and let us in. And she said no. So they said, Table, table, glistening and shining with fairy magic, let us in. And all at once, the table's legs started to shake and grew feet, and the feet started to pad across the ground towards the door. And it started reaching out a leg, and the foot turned to a hand, and the hand was about to turn open the handle when the lady said to her children, quick, 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 make it messy again. And they started tearing the books down off the shelves. They threw the books onto the table. A little boy got out his crayons and started scribbling. The little girl with the jammy fingers, aye, just like you, Molly, got her jammy handprints, stuck them all over the table. And then they took their dirty clothes, though they're clean clothes because the fairies had washed them, threw them all over the table. And then the fairies were saying to the table,
Come on then, table, far are you?
And the table said, I'm sorry, fairies, but I've lost all of my fairy magic. I'm nae clean anymore. I can't let you in. And the fairies weren't happy. So the fairies said,
Chairs, chairs sparkling with fairy magic. Come on and let us in.
So the same thing happened to the chairs. The chairs which had been cleaned by the fairies stretched out their legs. They too grew feet. The chairs started scurrying over towards the door. The chairs started reaching out with one of their legs. The foot turned into a hand. It went for the handle. And the lady of the house screamed at the children, quick! And they got the toys. The toys were thrown everywhere, all over the chairs. One little kid, the smallest one, with its finger up its nose, started smearing bogies. There was even a bit of chewing gum unceremoniously stuck underneath one of the chairs. And then the chairs said,
Oh, I'm ever sorry, fairies. Oh, but we're all dirty now. Everything's a complete mess and, there's no more fairy magic left in us.
They went back to being chairs. So then the fairies said,
Carpet full and glistening and clean with fairy magic. Come and let us in.
And the carpet started to roll itself up into a big long sausage, and it hopped up and started hopping over to the door, and a tassel reached out into a hand. It was about to open the door when the lady of the house flew at the carpet and knocked it down onto the ground, and she rolled it out, and the children got on their welly boots and they started jumping all over it until it was filthy. It was covered in dust. There was ashes from the fire. They even got some oat cakes and crumbled that all over it. And the carpet said,
Oh, fairies, I'm ever sorry, but I'm no longer clean and sparkling with fairy magic. I won't be able to open the door for you.
And I went back to being a carpet. So the fairies, what did they say? Were they happy, Fizzy?
No.
They said,
Lady of the house, let this be a lesson to you. Never, ever, ever invite the fairies in unless you have got an unlimited supply of cream. Cream! Cream! Cream!
And the fairies left. And they went all the way up, up, up the wild and lonely glen and down, down, down into fairyland. And they never bothered the lady again. And they certainly didn't come at night and pull out all their children's hairs one by one. Doink! 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 So she didn't hate all children. But the thing is, the lady of the house was awful nice. And every time she was making a cake for our family, she would make an extra few wee ones. Whip up some cream, add some sugar to it, and leave them up at the top of the wild and lonely glen for the fairies. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, loons, quines, aunties, uncles, and abdy else,
and fairies too.
That is where fairy cakes came from. Now, I hope you like the story. Me and Fizzy and Molly here are really excited because there's going to be a whole evening of stories from the Tag Team Tales. Now at 5 p.m. British time, we have got Sheila Kinninmouth from Fife, who is going to be telling us one of her favourite stories. Now that the schools are closed, I'm going to be doing a story pretty much every day. We'll see how that goes, Molly, won't we? Am I going to run out of stories?
Most likely.
And thank you very much, everybody. Please like the page, my page, the Tag Team Tales page, and share wherever. And we're hoping to keep entertainment going all the way through the holidays, and you as well. Are you going to tell some stories later on?
Aye.
Are you going to introduce them to your brother later on?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye. Do you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye.
Daddy, bye.